What's going on, everybody? Eric Lindquist at Stochastic here on the Odd Shopper channel, coming to you with another edition of Lindy's Leans, Likes, Locks, and Long Balls. Hit that like button, subscribe button, notification bell. It goes a long way for me on this video. It goes a long way for you. That way you become a prize whenever great content is going live here at our little neck of the YouTube woods. Just had to throw that last one in there because, again, 4 straight on this video. 4 straight long balls. And it'd be one thing if they were all like Matt Olson, Shohei Ohtani. Okay, I did have Shohei Ohtani on Wednesday. There's no big... But plus 750, Nelson Velasquez. I'm excited to see what everybody was like, oh, you picked Christian Walker and Coors against a lefty. Well, yeah, I did, and it was value at plus 295. But, that's beside the point. Also, plus 295, that's longer than any underdog on the entire slate. So, again, if you have access to these MLB props, it's been a lot of fun here on this program. This entire week has been a smash. Right now, the Mets are only up 2-0 here. I talked about it on Lindy's Locks Update over on Twitter /X. At Eric Lindquist, if you're not following me over there. We're getting close to 10,000 followers. Would be awesome to hit that benchstone before NFL starts, or benchmark, that's what it's called. But either way, really excited to hit a bunch of home run props for you here. And then, yeah, the Mets need to score some more runs. But talked on Lindy's Locks Update about how the 10.5, the 10 that it was kind of sitting at felt a little bit interesting to me because Jose Quintana, he looks a lot better when you start looking into the stats even further. Again, one of those things where I'm doing everything that I possibly can to break down every single game for you the night before, doing an in-depth review of starting pitchers. And even I uncover some things where it's like, yeah, we want to back Jose Quintana as a pitcher here. So hopefully the Mets can score 8 more runs. That'd be cool. Or Quintana can leave the game because he's just smashing the Cardinals right now. It's wild stuff. But either way, BetMGM, you can guarantee yourself a win. There we go. It's over my shoulder that way. BetMGM can guarantee you a win by getting $1,000 in bet credits. And then also, the way I'm running in the home run streets and then in the lock streets was 5-1 entering today. You have access, my friends, to 2 free months of that premium Discord of myself, Ben Raza, Eitan Shander, everybody you know and love on this Odd Shopper channel. I say it a lot here, but it's true. You have access to all of us. And it's free. I will happily refund your money if it doesn't end up working out for you. Free 99. See how that works? But also $1,000 in bet credits on your first wager. If it wins, awesome. Keep the money. If it loses, you get that money back in bet credits from BetMGM. So check them out, my friends. Only if you're 21 and over. And if you have a gambling problem, please call 1-800-GAMBLER. But hopefully I see you in that premium Discord hanging out here. We're having a lot of fun here the last couple of days. Maybe I need to move more often. Actually, that's a terrible idea. Moving sucks. But we got producer Jacob here. He's ready to rock into the weekend, friends. It's Friday. It's 16 games. Yes, a doubleheader because of rain and stuff. Producer Jacob, let's get to this. I just want to give another special shout out to my friend Nelson Velasquez. I love you. I love you. I love you. It's a long time till Christmas. Elf. Kind of a weird one to quote at this point in time. But Cole Reagan's on the mound against Jameson Taillon here. We're heading to Wrigley for a little afternoon baseball. How cool was that scene for Christopher Morel's walk-off home run? Wrigley was rocking. First walk-off home run in forever for the Cubs too, which is pretty wild to see that number. I don't really think about stats like that. Again, they don't really matter. But they're cool to watch. And again, for our intents and purposes, they don't matter. They totally matter for the fan bases and for the enjoyment of the sport. Cole Reagans has been enjoying the sport here a little bit more this season. Don't know where this came from, but the Southpaw's at a 345 expected slugging. We're starting to see some actual stuff from him, a 3.62 expected ERA. He was at 4.78 last season. He's only 25. Looks like the velocity's starting to come up a little bit for him as well. Sitting in that 96.5 mile per hour range on his 4-seamer. Mixing in a changeup curveball that look pretty good. I mean, the changeup's got a 34% whiff percentage. Again, a changeup, primarily throwing that all to righties. That's the point of a changeup, is to the platoon side. Yeah, I don't need to explain that to you. I think you get it. You just want picks? Cool. Jameson Taillon, not going to be picking him. 272 expected batting average, 479 expected slugging. If it were by any other name was a rose called, we would be looking at this line and smashing it if you just looked at these starting pitchers. Jameson Taillon, 20.2% K rate compared to Reagan's 25.5%. But Kansas City's lineup is no doubt, not as good top to bottom as what the Cubs are. But plus 160 here on the Kansas City side. I'm going to call it a lean, but I really do want to play this one badly. My spreadsheet's got this right on the in-between where it could be on the card. Again, fair value being right around plus 155, but you start betting 5-cent differences. Again, this isn't like a coin flip scenario. This is still one of those things where it's like, Do I really want to be firing this on a 16-game slate? Something that's close to a 50-50 in terms of the break-even value. Obviously, if Kansas City was a 50-50, this would be a lock of all locks at plus 160. But Kansas City just going to be leaning on their money line, maybe some props. Maybe our friend Nelson Velasquez. Ooh. Guess you could hit me up on Twitter at Eric Lindquist /X. I hate, why is it called X? Next game. All right, let's talk through the wonkiness. Let's talk through the absolute wonkiness that is this doubleheader. We have Detroit, we have Cleveland. They rained out inclement weather, really, on Thursday, Looking at Friday, there are a guaranteed duo of pitchers, and we're going to put them in game one, even though the official announcement is only for Williams as it stands right now. It's not even official. It's just MLB rolling him over the next day in Cleveland. Well, Gavin Williams is going to pitch one of these two games. Just like we know, Tariq Skubal was going to pitch Thursday. He's pitching one of the two games here on Friday. I don't know which ones he will be a part of. So I'm going to talk about this hypothetically as though we have Tariq Skubal in game two, if he's pitching. And game one, I'm looking at a number of different options that Detroit could be looking at, but it's probably going to be Matt Manning. All right, let's do this. I'm also going to have producer Jacob put in some nice little quotes, like what I think the theoretical pitching matchup is. So just look above. Pay attention to me. We begin. These are both going to be leans. If you want to fast forward ahead, I don't blame you, but I do think there could be some potential value here. I think you know by now I like Skubal. I don't really like Matt Manning as much as I used to, and I mean that, and like Matt Manning wasn't as bad as what the public appeared to think he was. It was just people betting against Detroit and their league worst WRC plus last season. Not really the case this season, but Manning, 352 xWOBA, 494 expected slugging. And I think you also know by now that I really like the fastball of one Gavin Williams. 35.5% hard hit percentage, 361 expected slugging with nearly a 60% usage on that four-seamer, but it carries a 5% barrel percentage. He's throwing it all the time. He has a 26.6% K rate still with that, and the velocity sitting around 95, 96, but it plays more live than that with a 29.1% whiff percentage. If that were to guarantee to carry over throughout his career, you'd be looking at one of the best pitchers in baseball here. But again, if he keeps that going, I'd be a little bit surprised. Teams will eventually figure out a way to mitigate some of that, unless he just gains a tick in mile per hour and then everybody's screwed, because he will be awesome. But anyway, game one, Cleveland money line, if no Skubal and Williams pitching. Cool. Game two, here is your theoretical that I have for this one. Xavier Curry was expected to pitch Thursday. He's been moved to Friday, with the rain out. So you got Mr. Curry, not Steph, not Seth, even though Seth Curry, can't be worse at defense. Maybe he could be good at pitch. Whatever, shout out Duke, go Duke. And not my dog, just whatever else. We're just going to move along our merry way. I'm going to talk about Skubal as though he's the pitcher here for this one. We talked about him yesterday for a little bit for you, but for those who missed it, strikeout stuff, right back. 27.7% for the southpaw, 219 expected batting average. Does have that 43.7% hard hit percentage, but outside of Jose Ramirez, not a lot standing in the way in this Cleveland lineup. You have Gabriel Arias, 43.4% hard hit percentage. He leads the team as the only guy over 40% in that department. So not a lot of power. Gives us an opportunity to look at Detroit money line here in game two. If Skubal is starting and Curry is pitching against him, because Curry, we just still do not like. Covered him yesterday. I really don't want to. We're going to just move along here, friends. Detroit money line game two, Cleveland money line game one. Pay attention to the lineups. There's always going to be some kind of value to mine out of here. I'm going to be in the premium Discord. That's where I'm going to be reacting to news. And again, I'm just going to be here in the garage, just watching baseball all day on that there TV and unpacking shit. Oh God, I have a lot to unpack. It's going to suck. Yeah, let's bet baseball instead. We only know one of two pitchers starting here in this one, and I would be surprised if Cincinnati released their pitcher well ahead of time here, just because, well, they're one of those teams that likes to be sneaky. So I have no idea who it's going to be here in this spot. Maybe Brendan Williams and maybe a couple of different guys. I'm going to be coming back to you tomorrow over on Twitter and covering that side of it, but I'm still going to lean on the Cincinnati money line because it's our old friend Jose Berrios on the mound. Overrated. 36% hard hit percentage is good. Sub 7% walk rate, decent. 22.6% K rate, better. He's improved a lot of his numbers this year. I will give him credit in that department. But he still carries a 440 expected slugging, 261 expected batting average, and he's going up against a Cincinnati team with power and speed, although a little bit more difficult to run on him here. So I will say Cincinnati going to be the lean here, but I'm not really in love knowing some of these options from the Cincinnati side, and I doubt we get any kind of steam with Jose Berrios here on the mound. So going to be having to pay attention to a lot of factors here in this one. Also, yeah, that's all I got for you. This is where the slate begins. I know we had a lot of riffraff at the beginning of the slate, but we know exactly what's going on here in Boston, New York. I know there's no run line. I know there's no total, but Caesars dropped a line already here, minus 105, minus 125, and that's good enough for me because we do know both starters, and I'm a little bit surprised other books haven't followed suit here on it. Brayan Bello, 100% starting for the Boston side. I guess he's not officially announced, but it 100% lines up to be for the New York Yankees, Johnny Brito. And knowing that it's Johnny Brito and his 4.77 ERA, 1.28 whip in Yankee Stadium against an undervalued Boston team that brings a lot of lefties to the plate. We've talked about it a million times. Tristan Casas, been one of the best 3 hitters in baseball since the All-Star break. And yeah, he's batting 8th against lefties because that's still where he should be. But Johnny Brito, confirmed, right-handed pitcher, facing a lefty in Tristan Casas. His platoon side, good stuff for them. Rafael Devers, Jarren Duran, Connor Wong, Alex Verdugo, Yoshida. Friends. This is a fantastic spot. And I thought about locking this because, again, this falls right on that fringe between like and lock. And the main reason is I think we could end up getting some value here on the Boston side. First of all, the Yankees. I'm not a big this is their recent form guy, but they're going to be facing Brayan Bello, who has the one superpower that matters when you go to Yankee Stadium more than anything else, and that's getting the damn ball on the ground. 5.4 degree average launch angle, 56.3% ground ball rate. Again, this is a borderline lock for me, but I'm going to put it into the light category, hoping more lines drop, hoping we can find some even money or plus 105. That would for sure fall me into the lock category. So if you're hearing this, if you're reading this, that's a country song. I can't remember who it's by. It's like Tim McGraw or something, whatever. If it's even money or plus 105 on the Boston side, lock, call it a day. But at minus 105, I'm going to be a little bit more stringent here later in the season. It's August 18th. We have NFL coming down the pipeline. I don't want you to overextend yourself on 16-game MLB slates with a lot of unknowns. Let's just stick to Boston money line, stick to the rivers and lakes that we're used to. Don't go chasing pinstripes. That doesn't have the same ring to it. Phillies. Yeah, they're going to be facing the Washington Nationals here in this one. Michael Lorenzen, yeah, pretty wild. I got to meet him last year at Dodger Stadium. It was pretty cool. Got to fly in and hang out, kick it. He was really, really nice. Very happy to see him succeed. One of the really nice guys in baseball. Really nice guy. He was an outfielder with Cincinnati once upon a time. Nobody cares. Good talk. Glad we had it. Jonah Dawn on the other side. He has not been good this season. 47.2% hard hit percentage. 415 expected slugging. You know what? He does have the strikeout stuff to a certain extent. 25.9% K rate. But the big but is you have him as the listed starter here, knowing full well that he will not be pitching more than 85 pitches absolute tops. He went 86 against Cincinnati. He's only had 4 starts at the big league level this season. More of a bullpen arm at times. And then obviously he's now been extended into a starter here. But a low opportunity to be targeting a gas can here. But Bryce Harper is due for massive home run regression in a positive way. And you saw that come to light against Toronto. Ended up hitting 2 of his 9 home runs. Again, wild to see Bryce Harper in the middle of August. And yeah, he was out for a little while there, but first baseman Bryce Harper at this point in time, hitting 291, 9 homers, 821 OPS, nothing to besmirch, but coming off of the last couple of years, this is underachieving for Bryce Harper. I still see some pretty good signs, though, and I saw the signs. I opened up my eyes. I saw the sign. Nobody's going to drag him up to get into the light where he belongs, but he can do it himself with a 493 expected slugging, 44.5% hard hit percentage. Just got to get that launch angle up, 8.8 degree average launch angle. Got to get that thing north of 15. And Adon, he has a decent enough ground ball rate, 41.7%, but he has a 41.7% fly ball rate to go with it. So friends, Bryce Harper. I think we're going to get better value on him. Thought about Kyle Schwarber. Also, I feel a lot of pressure I'm going for 5 in a row home run props here. So you know that I fully vetted this one. I want better than plus 340 for Bryce Harper in this spot. If you don't get that, pass, move on. Thank you. Next, as Ariana Grande would say. The Giants, the Braves. Yeah, we've just kind of been blindly betting the Braves. It's kind of a good idea, but unfortunately, Alex Cobb, a pretty decent starter here on the mound. I mean decent once upon a time, not so much this season, but carries a 57% ground ball rate. Not exactly ideal. We still are seeing that hard hit up there, 44.4%, 276 expected batting average. So Atlanta, they could move the line. They also have guys that are going to have power against, I don't know, anybody. So there's that. Oh, but it's Spencer Strider on the mound. Goody gumdrops. However, it's been a pretty interesting year, I would say, for Spencer Strider. Curious to see what Cy Young voters think of him, because the 3.75 ERA, not your typical, ooh, this is the thing that matters, because the underlying stats still fantastic, but we've ran into Pittsburgh giving up 6 earned. Just 3 strikeouts. Last time, 7 innings against the Mets, only 6 strikeouts. And what's the issue? Walks. He's been getting squeezed like crazy, friends. And I don't know if you've watched a couple of these matchups. I'm going to show some tape probably on Lindy's Locks Update. This isn't a lock. I just want to throw it out there. But I am definitely looking at a K ladder here for Spencer Strider, because if conditions are right, if we get an who is just being practical, and again, some of it is Strider's fault. Sometimes you got to get away from trying to be perfect, which I think he's trying to do a little bit too much. A couple of times where he just doesn't want to leave it out over the middle, and, well, he ends up walking a couple of guys aiming at edges. That's what it appears to me, at least. I'm going to go back and watch it, but 274 XWOB, but 201 expected batting average. But the big thing, 37.9% K rate going up against a San Francisco team that strikes out a ton against righties. 24.6% on the season, 96 WRC plus, so not exactly adding a ton of run creation there, even though this is obviously a ballpark upgrade for them. I'm looking at 10 strikeouts here for Spencer Strider as something that I might package with the Atlanta money line. Curious to see where this line shows up. Bet it's 9.5 still, which is just disgusting to think about based on his last couple starts. But don't look at the box scores. Don't look at them. They don't matter. What matters is the future. And in the future, I think Spencer Strider, when he doesn't get squeezed, it isn't walking 3 or 4 guys, we're going to see him strike out 12 to 15 batters in the near future. Hopefully that's here against San Francisco. I was going to talk about MGM, but producer Jacob said, no, Eric, we need to do 8 games and 8 games. He's a man of symmetry. I respect that. Origami. A goose. Haven't done a Jim Carrey in a while. Milwaukee Brewers, Texas Rangers here in this one. And, well, I was going to take my dear sweet time here and thought about this one as a lock as well. Brandon Woodruff, a name that you haven't heard a lot this season because he's only had 4 starts. But God, do I love what I've seen from him in those 4 starts. It was back at the beginning of April. 1.99 ERA, 0.84 whip, and then comes back here at the beginning of August. However, it was against Pittsburgh and the White Sox, so we don't want to go crazy. Let's go crazy. Dun, 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 dun. Prince. That'll get your weekend going right. Game blouses. But 2 earned against Pittsburgh, 2 earned against the White Sox. Let's not hand out any award just yet here. He's going up against Texas. By far his most formidable test since he has gotten back here. Texas with a 119 WRC plus against righties on the season, but I overall really like this kind of a number, plus 105. Yes, Milwaukee has to travel from LA to Texas. I think they'll be fine, friends. I think they'll be fine. Also, a couple of guys. Mark Canha getting the night off. You got Montessario. He ended up in the lineup, I think. I'll have to go back and check. But either way, Canha, I know for a fact, wasn't. Known lefty killer, and it just so happens, lefty on the mound, Andrew Heaney. And we saw the K rate way up there with the Dodgers last season. It's way down from that. 24.4% now this season. Still good. Still above average. But you add that with a 9.6% walk rate and a 433 expected slugging with a 15.7 degree average launch angle. Yes, Arlington, pretty neutral in ballparks. About as middle of the road as it gets. But, I think Milwaukee, they're going to roll out enough righty power here that I still think we want to at least tread lightly. And I say power in a very, kind of sarcastic way. I mean, Abraham Toro's been there for a cup of coffee. He got back. He's had like no plate appearances. I think 18 at bats on the season. Does have 2 homers with a 1.3 OPS. So that's making my sheet do weird things. However, yeah, we're going to go back to his 2022. Yeah, we're not going to worry about that. Carlos Santana. Got weird, didn't it? Milwaukee money line. Plus money. Way better pitcher. Brandon Woodruff's on fire. Yeah, let's just go to the next game. Just play Milwaukee money line. Now we get to talk BetMGM. Look at this happy guy. It looks like he's hit a bajillion home runs in the last couple days. Well, because he has, number one. Number two, you also get 2 free months of OS Premium Discord with this this deal at BetMGM, friends. Yes, 2 free months of being able to join me. Hi, friends. Hi. It's me. I kind of look like a caricature of myself. It's me. Hi, I'm the problem. It's me. Except for I've been a problem to the books lately, and I would like to continue to do that for you. Come join me. Come join me in my escapade as we are hanging out there in the Discord day in, day out. Really sharp community, really fun people that are betting there nonstop. Sometimes they're just throwing together single game parlays that I could never dream of. But there are certain guys looking at you, Bulk Logan, a couple of other people that I really find to put together some really sensical, logical, sound reasoning behind some of their crazy, crazy plays. If you want some of them for free, check out BetMGM. But that's not all, friends. You're also going to get up to $1,000 back in bonus bets from our friends here at BetMGM, simply because, well, they want you to try out their product. And I would like to punish them for you trying out their product by helping you win money over there. But you can help yourself win money over there just by checking out this first deal. You get up to $1,000 back in bonus bets back into your account if your first wager loses. If it wins, you keep the money. So take a shot on Milwaukee plus 105 with as much as you possibly can. Well, again, within your means. It's gamble responsibly. It's only if you're 21 and over. And if you have a gambling problem, please call 1-800-GAMBLER. But if it's $50, if it's $20, if it's $200, if it's $300, if it's $484.95, doesn't matter what that number is. It doesn't matter what your name is, as The Rock would say. You get up to $1,000 back in bonus bets if that first wager loses. So take advantage of it. Take advantage of it. All you do is sign up at the link below. Great stuff. And I will repeat, it's only if you're 21 and over. And if you have a gambling problem, please call 1-800-GAMBLER. Alrighty, y'all. Halfway point. Let's get back to the picks. My Minnesota Twins taking on the Pittsburgh Pirates. Just saying. Yeah. Sorry, Andre Jackson. Woo, Twins are for real. Against righties, that's for sure. But they strike out a lot too. But we have Pablo Lopez, 4 kids, and I got to take all that ass to showbiz. That was a wild shift. Anyway, we have Pablo Lopez on the mound. I feel good about that. 275 xWOBA, 30% K rate. Yay! And Andre Jackson on the other side, 25% K rate. Oh, Eric, what are we looking at here? Are you sure? Are you sure? Yeah, I'm sure. 47.5% hard hit percentage against this fool. And, well, overall, the Twins, they bring lefties to the table. We bet Matt Woolner from plus 800 all the way down to where he's at plus 400 on the daily. Last couple days, plus 450, plus 425, plus 400. Wowzer. It's like we're identifying power really, really well on this program. And then we're also identifying the best line. So my projected best play for a homer from the Twin side in target field, playing up in power for these lefties, Max Kepler. 20 homers on the season. And Andre Jackson, he's going from bullpen guy to lengthened out starter. 78 pitches in just 3 2/3 against Cincinnati. And here's the thing. This might seem crazy, Ken. He gave up 4 home runs. 4 home runs in an outing in just 2 innings against the Dodgers. And again, these aren't the Dodgers. The Minnesota Twins aren't the Dodgers. They're also not playing in Dodger Stadium. Better stadium for lefty power than you're looking at in Minnesota. But not by much. And Max Kepler, Matt Woolner, all these guys in this lineup on a day in, day out basis, even against righties and lefties alike. Well, this is a fantastic spot to be targeting the Pittsburgh bullpen. Again, they're not trying to win baseball games. The Twins are not going to bet minus 220 here on Pablo Lopez, but we'll say, thought about adding minus 1.5 here to the card, stayed away, instead focused on a home run prop I think is an absolute smash. Max Kepler, 45.4% hard hit percentage, 510 expected slugging, expected to be batting 3rd or 4th here in this lineup. Give me all of that you got as long as we're getting better than plus 350, which I totally expect. Also, don't sleep on Joey Gallo. Might have a couple of lefty plays here from the Twins. Power really projecting out well in this spot. How about the Seattle Mariners? What a game by Julio Rodriguez and them, clearing out Kansas City there. Late 8th inning heroics, if you will, there. Julio going yard, 5 for 5, back-to-back 4-hit games. I mean, good Lord almighty, he's pretty good at baseball. Let's ride that wave, shall we? And I'm not a recency bias guy, but Julio Rodriguez, I'd call him an underachiever over the course of this season based on his rookie numbers. And, well, I guess I should break down the pitching first. JP France on the mound for the Houston Astros. Bryce Miller on the side for Seattle. He's had a good whip, but a 20-degree average launch angle, 43.2% hard hit percentage. And you got the two lefties that I'm going to be paying attention to because I do every single time, Jordan Alvarez, Kyle Tucker. Also, Yanner Diaz sitting near the top of my home run model, but I've given you enough home run props, and I don't want to hear the propaganda in the comment section. Oh, Eric only gives props. Oh. Well, I'm going to give a prop anyway. Sounds good. It's my show. We got Julio Rodriguez, friends. 1.5 total bases. Something tells me this is going to be plus money, and I have to tell you, if you had told me last year, at the tail end of last year, August 18th, August 18th, that you would be getting plus money on a Julio Rodriguez total bases prop at any point in time with his 50.7% hard hit percentage, his 460 expected slugging, 10.1 degree average launch angle, and 366 WOBA, I would have thought you were crazy. But you know what's even crazier? His hard hit percentage is actually up a percentage this season. He's stayed the same in terms of walk rate, actually to the decimal point, and K rate's gone down half a percentage. His barrel rate has come with it, 10.4%, but overall, really like his approach at the plate here lately, just swinging away early, getting himself ahead in counts, and Julio Rodriguez is really good at baseball. So we're going to continue to ride that wave simply because I do expect plus money on this one. I want you paying attention to props that aren't necessarily always just the homers, although, again, I like winning you money and lots of it. One more prop, really quick. New York Mets, St. Louis Cardinals. Nothing really to make of note here other than Zach Thompson going to be on the mound here for St. Louis. I do expect the Mets to bring in Lucchesi. So Joey Lucchesi, he's a southpaw. We saw him with San Diego once upon a time. It's pretty much all I've really seen him with. And then, yes, with the Mets here as well. But overall, not my favorite pitcher to be backing in any way, shape, or form. 1.34 whip, 4.43 ERA, 4.5. I'm like the chef from Muppets. What am I saying? Paul Goldschmidt to home run against a lefty always seems like a fair one. And St. Louis is going to be like 98 next week, just in time for them to leave and go to Pittsburgh. That sucks. It would have been fun to target some hitting there, but we're talking about a guy with over 200 WRC plus in 2022 against lefties. And also, how does Paul Goldschmidt not have 20 home runs yet? Whatever. He's facing a lefty. He's going to hit one off of Lucchesi here. So Paul Goldschmidt, that's going to be your last home run play here of the day. So Kepler, yard. Paul Goldschmidt, yard. Bryce Harper, yard. Lots of guys just going completely yard for us lately. Let's keep that thing a rocking. Oh, this has to be better than plus 330, but it's going to be. Rockies, Colorado Rockies, facing the White Sox here. And oh my goodness, look at these pitchers. They are so bad. I bet it's like one of those rapper guys pitchers, but it's Michael Kopech here. 1.46 whip, 4.58. Kermit the Frog here. It's not easy being bad. Peter Lambert on the other side. He's also bad. Start the show. 1.43 whip, 5.46, ERA, that is. Expected ERA, not as bad, but overall, it's not a good pitcher to be backing in any way, shape, or form. We're going to Coors. It's going to be at altitude. It's a great ball. There's also some discrepancy with the lines here right now. We have a 12.5 minus 115. That's sitting right there on DK. We also have an 11.5 sitting on FanDuel. And there's a pretty negligible amount of juice on both sides of this. This happens in these spots where you have a lot of implied totals and you're going to have a close spread and everything looks dandy. But 11.5 with these pitchers and these bullpens. Oh yeah, friends. Oh yeah, we like it. Look a lot. Over 11.5. Again, caution. Don't want to go nuts. Neither of these teams in contention. Don't want them to, do too many crazy things. Not really targeting games like this to be locking in the near future. Spoiler alert. It's just not a good idea because they'll just pull random guys randomly. They'll call up AAA guys, just give them a day to put them in the lineup and give veterans days off. Lots of reasons that we want to show caution in these kind of spots and not lock a number, even if I do have it projected as a lock. So over 11.5, Just going to have a half unit on it, move along with my life. Hopefully we can scoop that and move on. And the reason we don't lock the over of 11.5 on the last game is because I want to lock something here, and I just like it infinitely more. Two teams that are, for all intents and purposes, still trying to win baseball games, even if in the Angels instance, they can't. The Tampa Bay Rays going up against these Angels, and boy, oh boy, what a special pitching matchup we have in store. Erasmo Ramirez against Tyler Anderson. Mr. Anderson. 18.9% carry, 264 expected batting average, 336 xWOBA. But yeah, Neo would have a heyday hitting off of this southpaw, that's for sure. Keanu Reeves, I bet he's got a decent up. Oh, I know he's a hockey player. Definitely has that swing there. Yeah, Erasmo Ramirez. Come on now. What are we doing here, bro? Why is Tampa Bay starting Erasmo Ramirez? I guess they have to. 5.72 ERA, 1.58 whip. And yes, it's going to be awfully bullpen-ish. He pitched on the 15th. He's in line to be starting here for Friday. I can't imagine they're going to extend him past 40, 50 pitches in any circumstance. In fact, his season high this year, 58 pitches that he had on the 6th of this month. Again, had 6 days off, pitched against Cleveland, then pitched again 3 days ago, the 15th, San Francisco. 18 pitches. It wasn't a crazy amount of pitches, but it's going to mitigate what his upside is here. Pay close attention to who could be this long reliever, but I got to tell you, the answer is nobody that is all that impressive to me. You get to the back half of this bullpen, you get some fun guys, but otherwise it's going to be a lot of like Robert Stevenson if he gets called up. You got Andrew Kittredge. I mean, Jake Dykman would be good, but again, that is a narrative where Erasmo Ramirez gets out of it unscathed in the first couple innings or first inning or two, and then hands it over to a weakened relievers, and then it passes over to him later in the game. And that just seems unlikely in an Angel Stadium where it's going to be 90 plus degrees here during the day. It's going to be 85 degrees at first pitch. And it's a ballpark that I think is always a little bit surprising for people to realize how up for power it plays, especially to lefties. They moved that line down about 3 years ago, that yellow line, or was it 4 years ago? Because Cole Calhoun was still on their team, not on the 48 other teams he's played for recently. God, he needs to leave Cleveland. I can't stand this guy. But we're looking at an Angels side that should also be giving up some runs themselves because Tyler Anderson, 5.28 ERA, 1.52 whip, 9.5. 9.5 is the number here. Oh boy. Oh boy. I had this at 11. That would make this one of my favorite plays of the entire month thus far. I have a unit and a half on it, which I don't do very often. So there you go, friends. I have really made my stand with this game on this slate. I'm going to be looking at home run props. I'm going to be looking at hitting props. Overall, I definitely want to be checking in on this Tampa Bay Rays reliever situation, but I got to tell you, everybody that I have as a probable longer reliever here doesn't project out well against the likes of Shohei Ohtani, and there's other pieces here that have been undervalued, that being CJ Cron, 476 expected slugging, Brandon Drury, 46% hard hit percentage, Randall Grichuk, Mike Moustakas, Matt Keiss, 40.8% hard hit percentage at the catcher position. What are we doing here, friends? We are locking Rays Angels over 9.5, my favorite play in quite some days, right here for you. If we're going to find out if this is the truest of heaters, which it really has been so far this week, we're going to find out right here. My only lock of the day, this one, but I'm making a pretty large stand on it. It's kind of sad here. Baltimore, Oakland. I really, really wanted to be able to pull the trigger on Baltimore, but when it's Oakland here, you of course knew it was going to be minus 170, and then it's funky. Cole Medina. We got Luis Medina on the mound going up against Kyle Gibson, and yeah, it says TBD. Yeah, you know me. You're down with TBD. It's going to be funky Cole Medina, but he's terrible, and we already know that. So not much to mine out of this one. 5.31 ERA for him, 1.53 whip. Strikeout stuff. I will say he's had some weird strikeout props lately. I'm going to be paying attention to that, but yeah, lefty power. It exists on this here Baltimore baseball team that, what are they up to now in the season? 100 WRC plus. Weird to see them middle of the road, but I will say 7.8% walk rate. They are out there swinging away. 22.5% K rate, but a 168 ISO. Pretty top heavy. I just like this Baltimore team as a dog pretty much all the time, but that's not the case here. Kyle Gibson, no way. I am betting him at minus 170. 43.4% hard hit percentage, 262 expected batting average. And I say this about almost every Baltimore starter. I don't like them as much as Public does. And if they didn't have Adley Rutschman, they'd be screwed. So there you go. pass. Baltimore -1.5. If you made me, I'd go towards the even money side of things, but just don't do this. 2 games to go. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell as we head to San Diego, Wales, you know what. We got Arizona going up against these Padres, and interesting pitching matchup with Brandon Pfaadt, who was supposed to be something out of AAA, was pitching in Reno. It's always hard to know if that's going to translate. Well, it hasn't. 45.5% hard hit percentage with a 17.2 degree launch angle and a 485 expected slugging. He's had like one good start now at the big league level in all of his opportunities this season. He's had 11 starts, nearly a 7 ERA, 1.52 whip. How am I getting plus money here on the run line? I don't know. Again, I'm showing a little bit of caution here. Obviously, Arizona was in contention. They've played themselves out of contention. They have Brandon Pfaadt on the mound, who's 0-6 for this team. And I don't really think about record all that much, but I do recognize that there are some power bats at the top of this lineup who could make his life living hell. Manny Machado, Fernando Tatis, of course, lefties, Juan Soto. Yeah, Jake Cronenworth if he has a pulse at any point in time. Also, Seth Lugo on the other side, 23.2% K rate for the starter from San Diego, 262 expected batting average, 42.2% hard hit percentage isn't all that great. You get Pham, you get Buddy Kennedy, who now joined the fray the last couple weeks. I think it was like week 2 he's been up here. Ketel Marte, Corbin Carroll, you know the usual suspects from Arizona. However, Brandon Pfaadt has been nothing but a big fat disappointment for these Diamondbacks. Friends, San Diego -1.5, clear cut, half unit play, simply wonderful. Let's get to the last game of the day. Also have a play from that one. We got the Dodgers, we have the Marlins, and we have a lot to mine through for our final play here. Sandy Alcantara on the mound. Yes, Alcantara starting to show old signs of himself, going up against Tony Gonsolin. Now, Sandy Alcantara still north of a 4 ERA, still a 1.18 whip, and still some trepidation because of how uncomfortable it's been from time to time this season. The hard hit's been up, the Ks were down, the velocity, it's been basically about the same, so we're not going to besmirch anything in that department, but it's been uncomfortable results with a 262 expected batting average and the 40.6% hard hit percentage facing a Dodgers lineup. But he's now had 2 complete games in his last 4 outings, which is a ridiculous statistic. The other 2, both qualities. Well, no, the Texas one, not a quality start. He gave up 4 in there in his 6 innings, but 8 innings against Philadelphia, a lefty-laden Philadelphia team, inducing crazy amounts of ground balls yet again. In fact, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 consecutive baseball games where he's had double-digit ground balls. That is what we're looking for from Sandy Alcantara over the course of any type of sample size. Now, Tony Gonsolin, I've expected positive regression for him in the second half of this season based on what we saw as 2022 numbers, but I'm ready to cut bait on him. He's got a 351 expected WOBA, a 16.1 degree average launch angle, and he doesn't have any strikeout stuff. That was never something that's been part of his repertoire. Sitting there, sub 20%. It was up to 27.2% in 2021, so he did have it that year, although his 14.2% walk rate left a lot to be desired. He got that 3.12 expected ERA, his career best last year. It's up to 5.29 expected ERA this season with a 4.24 actual ERA. So he's been running a little bit lucky. Still thought that expected ERA would start dropping, but it just hasn't. This Miami lineup also looked very different, and I will say Jake Berger was really, really popping in the home run model, but wanted to keep that to 3 here today. So if you want to fire it up, awesome. Friends, final play for you. Miami +1.5. We're getting them at -155. Anything close to that with Alcantara, yes, it's a dangerous Dodgers lineup. Yes, Tony Gonsolin, he could find ways to survive here, but I do think this Marlins lineup improved with Bell, De La Cruz healthy, and Jazz Chisholm, and all these guys that are there for Miami. Huge ballpark upgrade for them as well. So Sandy Alcantara, going to be a tough spot. Very, very tough spot, but I do like getting the 1.5 here. And that does it for another week of Lindy's Leans, Likes, and Locks. You know what to do. Go to that comment section below. Let me know how much you smashed on Nelson Velasquez on Thursday. Let me know your favorite plays here for Friday. This was obviously an awesome week for me personally, moving into the house. also for us as bettors. It was a phenomenal week. I hope to replicate this a lot going forward, especially as we get close to NFL season. Week 1 going to be here before you know it. Jump into that premium Discord. You're going to get 2 months. That'll take you all the way up to the middle of October just by checking out an awesome sportsbook in BetMGM. Let's go win some money over there together. And then also up to $1,000 in bet credits on that first wager, only if you're 21 and over. And if you have a gambling problem, please call 1-800-GAMBLERS. So sign up at that link below. Hopefully see you soon. All right, friends, we're turning it over to Aton on the weekend like we always do. I'll be back on Monday. And until then, I'm Eric Lindquist. Go follow me on Twitter/X at Eric Lindquist. We'll be happy to let you know anything that I end up firing here or anything you have questions about. Will be great to see you there. Until next time, friends, I'm Eric Lindquist. Best of luck in the MLB streets on Friday.